A pleasant day to each and everyone. My name is Melody Bisahot, and today I will discuss socialism under Lesson 4, Topic 5, Justice and Fairness. So let's start and let us define first what is socialism. So, socialism is a populist and political system. When we say populist, it is a politician or an elected administration which strive to appeal to ordinary people who feels that their concerns are being disregarded by an elite groups or individuals. It is also based on public ownership or what we call a collective or common ownership of the means of production. And this public ownership means and include the machinery tools and factories that is being used to produce goods that can satisfy human needs. And here it also tells that socialism is a social and economic doctrine that calls for public rather than private ownership or control of property and natural resources. So it explains that the property and natural resources are being controlled by public, and that is in socialism compared to a capitalism which the natural resources or the properties are being controlled by a private owner or individuals. According to socialist view, if in capitalism the workers live to work in isolation, here in socialism the workers live to work with cooperation with one another. Here in socialism, we have an advantage and disadvantage. One of the advantages is that it helps us to reduce income inequality. It gives us a social stability and infrastructure, and it gives us a greater rights for workers and individuals. While in the disadvantages is that it depends on the cooperation and the government might abuse the power and there are fewer rewards for innovation. So that here in the socialist view, it tells that the workers live in cooperation with one another, but the problem is that if all of the workers are willing to cooperate with one another in order to achieve a goal, which is a goal of a society or a public.
So here we have a various types of socialism. Number one, democratic socialism. Under this type of socialism, the factors of production are under the management of an elected administration. This elected administration is what I called a populist earlier. These populists are the one who manage and distribute vital goods and services to a selected member of the society. This selected member of the society who receive a vital goods and services from an elected administration then again distribute it to the other member of the society. And this is when a free market system happens. Here in free market system, the price or value of the products and services depends on the owner's deal to their consumer. Example is when we buy clothes into a relief store. The consumer asks for a product's lesser price less than its original price. This kind of process is called a free market system. So number two, we have a revolutionary socialism. In this type of socialism, there is a socialistic system wherein in this system, the factors of production are owned and run by workers through a well-developed and centralized structure. The revolutionaries here in the revolutionary socialism had a running philosophy, and this philosophy is that while the capitalism is present or is still in play, the socialistic system and socialism can't emerge. They believe that the road to achieve this system is full of difficulties and struggles. So that is the revolutionary socialism. Now let us turn to number 3, which is the libertarian socialism. Here in libertarian socialism, this is when the capitalism is taken away. The people naturally turn into a socialistic system. And there is this assumption here in libertarian socialism wherein people are said to be always rational, self-determining, and autonomous. The big question here is it true? That's the question I want to left with you to think about. Let's move on to number 4, market socialism. Here, the process of production is under the control of ordinary workers. Workers are the one who decide how to distribute resources. It's up to them if they sell off the excess resources or just give it out to other members of the society. Then these members of the society who receive resources then again distribute the resources they get based on a free market system. The difference of market socialism to a democratic socialism is the one who manage and control the resources. If in the democratic socialism, the one who manage and control the production is the elected administration or a politician, here in market socialism, production is managed and controlled by the workers. So number 5, green socialism. Green socialism is protective of natural resources. The large corporation in a green society are owned and run by the public. And in addition to that, green socialism is the one who promotes the development and the use of public transit, as well as the processing and sale of locally grown foods. These locally grown foods is planted by farmers. For examples is corn, rice, onions, and etc. Here, the process of production is focused on ensuring that every member of the society or community has an enough access to basic goods. Moreover, the public is guaranteed a sustainable wage. So, that's the different type of socialism. Now, what's the connection of socialism in war on drugs? Does war on drugs bad or good? War on drugs is a campaign which purpose is to lessen most of the crimes happening in a society because of drugs. So, it means that war on drugs is a good thing. Socialism is about a public that progress together. However, the fact that people are not always rational as what's said in libertarian socialism, and the fact that the government might abuse their power that leads to corruption. The goods and services that the government needed to distribute to the society are being held. When this happened, the member of the society suffers. That is the time where society are obligated to look for another way or scheme just to meet their needs. In reality, society are not always rational as what said in the libertarian socialism. There are moments when they choose and decide to do illegal things in order to meet and achieve their needs. The question here is why? Why did they choose this kind of system? This is because of lack of goods, services, and employment that the government or the elected administration needed to distribute by the public. This kind of happenings or circumstance is what we call a corruption. Now, if the corrupt, when while the corruption is still present, the illegal things that the members of the society do, like pushing, using, and dealing drugs that cause crime in our society still, are being noticed by some politicians like President Rodrigo Roa Duterte and Mayor Isko Moreno of Manila. They are both a political personalities whom enforce a war on drugs, their subjects, and territory. But both of them do achieve different outcomes. So here, on President Rodrigo Roa Duterte's war against drug, it is chaotic. There is an extrajudicial killings, and these killings are being acted or executed through a vigilante style of killings. One of the victims are Axel Martinez's father and Loremi Sevilla's brother. According to Loremi Sevilla, sister of Jeremy Sevilla, one of the victims of extrajudicial killings, there is no justice here. If you are poor, you don't get justice. So why do you think did Loremi Sevilla means by this statement? The answer is it's because of if before they are already experiencing an injustice, here on President Duterte's war on drugs, it becomes much worse. Why? Because the economic, moral, legal, political, racial, opportunity, and Christian egalitarianism, which promotes equality and equity to all, are being violated furthermore. While, on the other hand, on Isko Moreno's war on drug in Manila, there is no extrajudicial killings. The campaign are executed cleanly. Here, they also give importance to the life of police. But is there extrajudicial killings? Given the fact that this member of the society who use, push, and deal drugs might also become aggressive that may cost the life of each policeman. Now, if we compare President Duterte and Isko Moreno's way of approaching or dealing with war against drug, what did we learn? Here, we have a list of factors to be considered that could at least lessen the injustice and inequity in our society. Number one is good leadership. Two, acknowledge the worth of each other. The respect, the discipline, and the willingness to act correctly, rationally, and the ability to give importance to the life of each other. And the last one is care for our fellow. Now, if we really did act these said factors, we might really achieve or overcome this inequality and injustice here in our country that prevents us to experience justice and fairness in our daily lives. So that's the end of our topic and discussion for today. And I hope that through our discussion is you learned something that would greatly benefit not just only ourselves but also into our community.